Well, happy Monday, girls and boys. Hope the last assignment was relatively easy. I'm going to go over a couple problems in the packet because I saw some that were actually very hard. But this was such a cute little puzzle on the button. If you did everything right, it should say, I'm falling in love with fractions. And I hope you are. Fractions are fun to me. So that's the answer that you should have gotten. And on this one, oh, that's 8C. Let's go to 9B. You can pause this and check your answers. Again, one thing that I'm going to be looking for when I call for this, and by the way, you don't have to send it in yet, because time-wise, I don't have time to actually grade each and every one of them, but I will call on them probably within a couple of days, so have them ready to be photographed and sent. But one of the things that I'm looking at and where you might get points taken off is if you are not reducing first before you multiply straight across. That is one of the skills that we are learning, and so that's a skill that you need to be showing. So again, make sure that you're showing all of your steps, that you're not doing any work at all on top of this. You need to rewrite it and then go ahead and do your reducing and cancellation. So if you need to pause that, go over your answers. Again, one of the requirements too is it is a requirement that you check your answers. So in case an answer isn't there, you can email me, send me a picture of what you did, and I can help show you where the mistake might have been. It might also be my mistake. It might be wrong in the answer bank, which I think it was on the next page. So let's go over on that one. All right, so on 9C, here we go, starting up here. Again, good practices is reducing first. Here are the answers. And I believe this last one was not on there. So I'm surprised nobody sent me an email. You would have gotten some candy. All right, on this page though, I'm gonna go over a couple because they were a little bit more challenging. So let's go ahead and look at the number 3. Again, what's the first thing to do? If you said check plus, you are correct. So let's go ahead and put our 5 back down, divided by, this is 8 on the second one. The denominators stay the same. Do check plus on this one. 8 times 5 is 40, plus 4 is 44. Then on the next one, there's no check plus. All right. So it's dizzy division. So on dizzy division, we are going to leave the first fraction, change the division to a multiplication, and flip 8 over 5. Well, if you look at this one, it wasn't really hard. It was just a lot more work. 5 doesn't go into either of those. So on this one, we had to go straight across. So it didn't come out real pretty. I'll just go over to the side. It's 44 times 8. So 44 times 8. It's 32, 33, 34, 35. So going straight across, we get 352 over 5 times 5 is 25. And I'm going to take this because I don't have any room here and I'm not going to make a sloppy mess, but I'll go ahead and bring it up here and we'll put 352 divided by 25. So 352 divided by 25 doesn't go in the 3, goes in that once. You work it out. Let's see if we get the same answer. How many quarters in a dollar? If you said 4, that is correct. 4 times that is 100, and we've got 2 left over. So on these big ones, remember that remainder, you're going to bring it straight up as if we were going to put R2, but with fractional remainders, you don't put the R, just put 2 over what we were dividing by. And so that is how you get this answer number 3. And we'll go ahead and do another one that had some large numbers. Let's look at the number 7. So on this one, again, check plus. 5 times 12 is 60, plus 7 is 67. And on this one, because there's no check plus, I think we can go ahead and go leave, change, flip. So I'm going to go ahead and flip that. So on this one, the 5 doesn't go into 12. Nothing else can be broken up. So we need to go straight across. So I'm going to neatly go ahead and do that over here. 67 times 5. That's 30 plus 3 is 33. So we get 335 over, where are we? Right here. 12 times 1 is 12. So again, I'm going to take that up to the top, and there's nothing else I can do except divide. And please don't just go from here to here, because honestly, that's not a mental math problem. So you should show your division, find a spot. We're going to go 335 divided by 12, and I'm going to put that this last one was from number 3, and this one is from number 7. So 12 doesn't go into 3, 12 goes into this twice. 33 minus 24 is 9. Bring that down. And I know 15 goes into 96 times. And that's smaller, so it's going to go more times. So I'm going to try 7. So 7 times 12 is 84. And that, I think, is a good fit. So go ahead and put 7. 7 times 12 is that 84. And when we subtract, we get 11. And that's a good remainder. If it was over 12, 12 or over, it could have gone in again. But it's not. So again, we're going to bring that up to the top. And going to put a 12 on the bottom. That's what we're dividing by. So I'm going to make it neater when we bring that answer over. And there it is. 27 and 11 over 12. So again, go ahead and check the rest of your answers. Again, this is the one I think was left off. It was probably, I just kind of missed the 7 key. I'm thinking it was this one. So 7 and 7/8. All right, I'll show you that again. And then we're going to get started on today's. Today's going to be a shorter video because you're not going to have that much to do today. Alrighty, so we're going to flip it over to this one. So this is label it 10A. Now this one, the last one we had a mixed number by just a fraction. Today you're going to have a mixed number by a mixed number. And let's kind of look at this very quickly. I can estimate what my answer is, estimate it, by just looking at the whole numbers. 4 divided by 4, it's going to be around 1. It might be a little less than 1, but it's going to be very close. Like here's a number that's just less than 1. So it might be that one. I have a feeling it's going to be that one. Or it might be something just a little bit over 1. So this one, 2 divided by 4. Well, 2 is half of 4. So this answer is going to be probably around a half, or a number that represents a half. In fact, here's a half right away. I don't know if that's the exact answer, but 3 divided by 4, like 3/4. So this is going to be one that's less than 1, but 3/4 of a whole. So it looks something like this. So again, you can kind of estimate your answer. This is going to be around a half. 4 divided by 2. This might be 2 and something, or a number 1 and another fraction very close to 2. Like, looks like this one is almost going to be 2. So again, make sure that your answers are reasonable. Well, we're going to start with this number 7. So again, good practice is, on this one, you cannot do any leave, change, flip. You must write this completely out, but you can write it on here. So again, I'm going to put a 10 and a 2, check plus on mixed numbers, 40 plus 9, 49. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Again, it is dizzy division, and so I'm going to leave, change to multiplication, and flip my fraction there. So that's going to be 2 over 7. Now here is where, for you to get full points, you must be reducing. Please don't go across and go 98 over 70. I want to see your good reducing practices before you multiply across. So I'm going to look at that 2. Does that go into anything on the bottom? Well, sure it does. It goes into the 10. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 10 divided by 2 is 5. And then the 5 doesn't go into anything else, but what about that 7? Does that go into anything on top? Well, sure it does. It goes into the 49. So 7 divided by 7 is 1. 49 divided by 7 is 7. And so what do we have left? 7 times 1 is 7. 5 times 1 is 5. And that's top heavy. So again, my box holds 5. I've got 7 donuts. How many whole boxes can I make? Well, if you said 1, you are correct. 7 divided by 5, it goes in 1 whole time. Any leftovers go in a new size 5 box. 1 times 5. There's 5 donuts in that box. How many are left over is 2. And let us check if we're right. In fact, it's right here. Okay, so again, this is good fraction practices that on the next quiz, which may be probably Monday, you need to master this. Some of you are just floating the 7 and the 5 and you're not crossing off your 2 and 10. And we're not going to have retakes, so make sure that you're doing this correctly. You need to cross off the 7 and the 49 because when I reduce 49 and 7, they are gone. And so you need to represent that they're gone by crossing those through. Same thing with the 10, the 2 and the 10. Let's go down to the number 10. Again, pause this if you need to stop and copy anything. In fact, I don't need my spiral, so I'm going to get it out of the way. So let's go ahead and look at, where is that problem? The number 10. So again, we're going to go ahead and put our denominators first, since that is the easiest because it stays the same. Do your check plus. Oh, and by the way, I should have mentioned this. 4 divided by 3 goes 1 time. Again, I'm not looking at the fractions, so I should have estimated that this would be 1 and something, and our answer was 1 2/5. This one, 2 divided by 3, 3 doesn't go into 2, so my answer is going to be smaller than 1. So here we go. Check plus. Help me with this. What is that going to be? If you said 29, you are correct. And the next one, what is that going to be? If you said 19, you're correct. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 4 is 19. And once we have the check plus on both those, then we can go ahead and do our dizzy division, which is leave, change to multiplication, and flip, or what they call, take the reciprocal of that number. And then good math practices, you're going to see if anything can be reduced first. I don't even want to multiply that. Like, not if I don't have to. Doesn't 5 go into the 10? Yes, so go ahead and cross those off. Those are gone. So this is a 1, and 5 went into the 10 2 times. And is there anything else that could be reduced? I don't think so. So now we can go ahead and multiply straight across. 29 times 1 is 29. And 2 times 19 is 38. And that cannot be reduced anymore because we've already reduced it. We reduced it before we multiplied straight across. And again, look for your answer. I think it's the one way up at the top. And again, we said it would be less than 1, and it is. So there's only 8 more of those, so I'm going to let you do that. But again, cross off your answer. And we're going to do some word problems. Oh, I hear all the boos. Quack, quack, quack. What's going on? What's going on? Oh, here's Quacky Quacker the duck. Or is that a chicken? I think she's a duck. Okay, Quacky Quacker. How old are you? Oh, 22. Are you 22 years old? Yeah, again, famous 1998 birth. But anyway, Quacky, we've got to go. Quack, quack. All right, let's go on. So we're going to be doing some division of fraction word problems. So label this 10B. And usually when you're dividing, when you're doing the word problems, you're going to look and see what is it that is being divided up. That always wants to be your first number. You're looking for a total or what is being divided up. And then the second number, it's what's not being divided up. And so let's go ahead and look at an example. Because I don't want to work too many of these. There's only 6 of them that you have to do. So let's just think this out. How much of the pizza does each person get? And oh, here's another clue too. It's the pizza per person. You're going to take the pizza and divide it by the people. So let's read this, see if this makes sense. You have 2/4 of a pizza and you want to share it equally between 2 people. How much of the pizza does each person get? So here's one way to look at it, the pizza per person. That tells me that the pizza is going to go first. But the other way that you really have to understand is you're looking for the total or what is being divided up. So let me ask you, what is being divided up? Is the pizza being divided up? Or are the people being divided up? Well, of course the people are not being divided up. It's the pizza. So again, the pizza would go first. And you're dividing it by how many people there are. And then again, I'm not going to finish it. I'm going to let you finish that. All right, I'm going to let you finish that, and remember to put a 1 under this, and then leave, change, flip. So listen carefully as I'm going through these so you'll know which number goes in front. So how many cakes, always go to the question so you know what they're talking about. How many cakes can she make if she has a bottle of oil that has 6 cups in it? A baker is making cakes for a big party. She uses 1/4 cup of oil for each cake. So let me ask you something. How much oil is she using for each cake? And if you said 1/4, you're correct. Is that 1/4 going to be divided up? No, they have to have 1/4 per cup. So that is what's not being divided up. So it looks like that's going to go second. So then let me see what is going to be divided up. How many cakes can she make if she has a bottle of oil that has 6 cups in it? Well, guess where they're getting the 1/4 cups from? They're getting it from that big bottle that has 6 cups. So what's going to be divided up? The 1/4 cup that they must have for each cake, or that 6 cups? If you said 6 cups, you are correct. And again, so the 6 is going to go first, divided by the 1/4. And then you're going to, again, put a 1 under the 6 and leave, change, flip. I'm going to skip number 3. We'll take a peek maybe at the number 4 to give you a hint. How many half-cup servings are in a package of cheese that contains 5 1/4 cups altogether? Well, in fact, let me draw a little picture of that. It has 5 1/4 cups. So here's a container that has 5 1/4 cups of cheese. And then how many half cups are in the package? So here's a half cup. Here's another half cup. Okay, this is going to be a picture way of looking at division. And another half cup. And another half cup. And I don't know how many half cups, but is that half cup changing? Am I dividing that up? No, it has to stay a half cup. So a half is what is not being divided up. So I think that one half, in fact, I don't think, I know. I know that one half is going to be second. So in front has to be the total of what is being divided. Well, what is being divided? What's being divided up is this package. In fact, I will write that. It is the package that's being divided up. So the package total goes first, divided by your half cup servings. And then again, you're going to do your check plus, and your dizzy division leave change flip once you've got that step down. So just giving you hints because there's so few here. So let's look at, oh, I'm almost done, is how many pillowcases can they make out of 12.5 yards of fabric? Mrs. Murphy's class is making pillowcases. Each pillowcase is using 3/4 of a yard of fabric. How many pillowcases can they make out of 12.5 yards? So what is it that's being divided up? Do you know? Well, if you said the fabric, you are correct. Again, it's a great big piece of fabric. That is what's being divided up. And if it's being divided up, where does it go? It goes in the front. So I'll help you set this one up, but I'm not going to do it. Is 12.5. And what is not being divided up? So that tells you what's not being divided up is the second part. Each pillowcase will be 3/4. We're not dividing up. We have to have 3/4 on every one. So we're dividing it by 3/4. And then again, your next step is going to be like we've been doing, check plus. And because this is not a mixed number, you will be able to do your check plus and then leave, change, flip. Now, let me say in fact, I think I'll leave this one for you to do, is I will say on, I believe it's number 5 and number 6, if I get an answer, for example, like, oh, I'll just make something up, 20.5. Okay, 20.5 is not the answer. But if I got that answer, how many whole pillowcases could I make? I could only make 20 because a half is not a full pillowcase. So if you get a mixed fraction, take off that last part. Your answer would be 20. Again, and do you understand why? I can't make a half of a pillowcase. I want to know how many whole pillowcases I can make. The same thing here is I want to know how many whole books will fit on a shelf. Again, if I got the answer of 20.5 books, I can't have a half of a book. So my answer again would be 20. So that's a hint for those two. Okay, girls and boys, so I'm going to be very interested in seeing your work on this one when you get it done. So we are finished for today. Your assignment is going to be to do the 10A, show all of your work on the worksheet itself. You don't need your spiral to do that. Do all of these word problems, and then we will have more word problems to do next time. If you have a question on any, or you don't get an answer, please have your parents email me, and I'll be happy to send you a picture of how it should be done. You have a great day.